Welcome back, coin collectors and enthusiasts. Today, we've got a fascinating story about a seemingly ordinary coin that could be hiding a small fortune in your collection. We're diving into the 1990 United States Roosevelt dime, a coin that many of you might overlook, but which can actually be worth a lot more than its face value. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be on the lookout for this particular dime, because you could be holding onto something worth $40,000. Now, let's talk about the 1990 Roosevelt dime. It may seem like just another dime in your pocket, but as we take a closer look, you'll see there's more to this coin than you might expect. The Roosevelt dime has been a part of American currency since 1946, following the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The coin features a portrait of Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinek, on the obverse side. And while the design itself is familiar to most collectors, the 1990 version of this coin carries some secrets that make it especially intriguing. One key factor in determining the value of the 1990 Roosevelt dime is its rarity. While millions of these coins were minted that year, not all of them are created equal. The coins that survived in excellent condition, those that have been carefully preserved over the years, are the ones that can bring in top dollar. You see, most dimes from 1990 have seen plenty of wear and tear from daily transactions, which means finding one that's in pristine, uncirculated condition is already a rare occurrence. But the story doesn't end there. What truly sets this coin apart and makes it worth so much money are the errors and unique characteristics that can be found in certain 1990 Roosevelt dimes. In the world of numismatics, errors are gold. Even a tiny imperfection can significantly increase a coin's value, and the 1990 dime is no exception. One of the most sought-after errors in the 1990 Roosevelt dime is the die clash error. A die clash happens when the coin dies. The tools that strike the design onto the coin come into contact with each other without a blank planchet between them. This can cause part of the design to be struck on the coin in an unusual way, making it stand out from the rest. If you have a 1990 dime with a die clash error, you could be holding onto a rare piece that will excite any collector lucky enough to come across it. Another key feature to watch out for is off-center strikes. Sometimes, coins are struck slightly off-center during the minting process, and this can create a coin that's not only rare but visually unique. A 1990 Roosevelt dime with an off-center strike can be worth much more than the typical dime, especially if it's been well preserved. These types of minting errors aren't very common, and finding one in excellent condition, especially one that hasn't been heavily circulated, is a real treat for collectors. If you've got one of these error coins, or even a well-preserved 1990 Roosevelt dime without any obvious mistakes, you're looking at something that can command an impressive value in the right market. But what makes this 1990 Roosevelt dime especially exciting is that its value has increased dramatically in recent years. Collectors and investors are always looking for coins like this one, coins that are not only beautiful examples of American currency but also ones with potential to appreciate in value over time. As more collectors seek out specific years and errors, coins like the 1990 Roosevelt dime are becoming harder to find and more desirable by the day. So, what's the big reveal? Just how much could this unassuming dime be worth? If you happen to have a 1990 Roosevelt dime in pristine condition, especially one with a rare error like a die clash or off-center strike, you could be looking at a value of an astounding $40,000. Yes, you heard that right, $40,000. It's incredible how a little dime that once traded for just 10 cents could be worth such an enormous amount today, all thanks to its condition and the unique features it might possess. So, what should you do next? Take a close look at your collection. Go through those old change jars, check your pocket change, and examine any 1990 Roosevelt dimes you come across. You might be surprised at what you find. And if you have a dime that's in fantastic shape, or even better, one with a minting error, don't hesitate to get it evaluated by a professional. It could be the key to unlocking a small fortune. Today's video is one you won't want to miss. We're diving into the fascinating world of the 1991 United States Roosevelt dime. At first glance, this might seem like just another dime, but trust me, there's much more to this coin than meets the eye. You could be holding onto a rare and incredibly valuable piece of history. By the end of this video, you'll be on the lookout for this coin, as it could be worth $36,000. Let's start by discussing the 1991 Roosevelt dime itself. The Roosevelt dime was first minted in 1946 in honor of President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. The design, created by John R. Sinnock, is iconic. Roosevelt's portrait graces the obverse, while the reverse features a simple yet powerful depiction of a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. While this design is widely recognized, what makes the 1991 Roosevelt dime particularly special lies in its rarity and possible minting errors. Now, millions of these dimes were minted in 1991, and while they are not exceedingly rare in terms of production numbers, finding one in mint condition is a whole other story. Most of the 1991 dimes you come across have seen significant wear and tear. Over the years, dimes are used in daily transactions, and the more they circulate, the more they deteriorate. But if you happen to have a 1991 Roosevelt dime that has been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition, you might just have a gem on your hands. The value of coins in excellent condition is always higher because they represent a snapshot in time, untouched by the harsh elements of everyday life. But here's where things get really interesting for coin collectors. The 1991 Roosevelt dime has become desirable for collectors not just because of its condition, but also because of rare minting errors that can add significant value. The world of error coins is a thrilling one, and finding a 1991 Roosevelt dime with a rare minting flaw can catapult its value far beyond expectations. One of the most sought-after errors for the 1991 Roosevelt dime is the off-center strike. In a typical minting process, the coin dies strike the blank metal planchet directly in the center. However, sometimes, due to a slight misalignment, the strike is off-center, creating a unique and visually appealing coin. These off-center dimes stand out because they don't have the usual symmetrical design. If you happen to find one of these 1991 dimes with an off-center strike, it could be worth significantly more than a standard dime. Another type of error to keep an eye out for is a double die error. This occurs when a coin is struck multiple times, with the second strike misaligned with the first. It can result in a doubled image on certain parts of the design, whether it's Roosevelt's portrait, the year, or the lettering. Double die coins are highly sought after because they are so unique, and finding one among the 1991 dimes would be an incredible discovery for any collector. The key to understanding the value of these coins lies in the scarcity of error coins in pristine condition. A 1991 Roosevelt dime with a rare minting error in top condition can be worth far more than its face value. In fact, a dime like this could fetch a price well above what you'd expect for a standard dime. Now, the most exciting part, the moment you've been waiting for. If you have a 1991 Roosevelt dime that is in excellent condition, especially if it features one of those rare minting errors like an off-center strike or a double die error, you could be looking at a coin worth a stunning $36,000. Yes, you heard that right, $36,000. It's incredible how a coin that was originally minted for just 10 cents can be worth so much today, all thanks to its condition, rarity, and unique characteristics. So, here's what you need to do. Go through your collection, take a closer look at any 1991 Roosevelt dimes you might have, and carefully inspect them for errors or signs of uncirculated condition. Even if you find just one of these rare gems, you could have something that will dramatically boost the value of your collection. Today's video will absolutely pique your interest. We're going to talk about a coin that might be hiding in plain sight, an incredibly rare 1985 Roosevelt dime. At first glance, this dime might seem like any other in your collection, but what if I told you this small coin could be worth a staggering $46,000? That's right, this unassuming dime has the potential to bring in some serious cash, and today, we're going to explore why. Let's start with the basics. The Roosevelt dime has been in circulation since 1946, and its design, featuring President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse and a torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse, has become iconic. But here's where it gets interesting. While most 1985 dimes are commonly seen in circulation, very few remain in mint condition, and that's where the value skyrockets. The 1985 Roosevelt dime, while not extremely rare in terms of production numbers, is highly prized when found in uncirculated condition. That's because, over time, dimes tend to show signs of wear and tear from being used in daily transactions. Coins that have been heavily circulated lose much of their original luster, but a dime in pristine, uncirculated condition holds immense value. If you happen to have a 1985 Roosevelt dime that's free from scratches, dents, or wear, you could be holding on to a significant treasure, but let's not stop there. What makes the 1985 Roosevelt dime truly exciting for collectors is the possibility of minting errors. In the world of coin collecting, errors are what often make a coin stand out, and they can dramatically increase its worth. So, what are the errors you should be on the lookout for with the 1985 Roosevelt dime? One of the most sought after is the off-center strike. An off-center strike happens when the coin blank doesn't line up perfectly with the dies during the minting process. This results in the coin's design being slightly misaligned, giving it a unique look that sets it apart from the rest. If you manage to find a 1985 Roosevelt dime with an off-center strike, it's considered much more valuable than a regular, well-centered dime. Error coins like this are highly coveted in the coin collecting community, and their rarity makes them worth far more than their face value. Another error that can increase the value of the 1985 Roosevelt dime is a double die error. This occurs when the coin is struck twice by the dies, but the second strike is slightly misaligned with the first, causing a doubling effect on parts of the design. This could mean you'll see a doubled image of Roosevelt's portrait or the date, making it instantly recognizable to seasoned collectors. Coins with double die errors are incredibly rare, and if you find one among the 1985 dimes, you could be sitting on a valuable piece of history. These rare minting errors make the 1985 Roosevelt dime not just a simple coin, but a collector's dream. In fact, coins with these imperfections, especially when they are in top condition, can easily fetch much higher prices than you might expect. And here's the exciting part: if you've got a 1985 Roosevelt dime that's in near-perfect condition and features one of these rare minting errors, it could be worth an impressive $46,000. Imagine finding a coin that's worth that much, just sitting in your collection or hiding in your change jar. It's not just about the rarity of the coin, but about the condition and the unique errors that make it stand out. If you're a coin collector, this is the type of find that can make all the difference in your collection. Even if you don't have one of these rare dimes yet, the thrill of discovering something like this is what makes coin collecting so exciting. So, what should you do next? Take a closer look at any 1985 Roosevelt dimes you have. Examine them carefully for signs of uncirculated condition, and don't forget to check for those rare minting errors like off-center strikes or double die features. You never know, you could be holding onto a coin that's worth thousands of dollars, and that's the kind of discovery that every collector dreams of. Get ready to uncover one of the most intriguing treasures hidden in plain sight, the 1980 Roosevelt dime. Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about this dime? It's just a small, shiny coin. But trust me, this unassuming little piece of history might be worth a lot more than you think, and we're going to dive into why it could be worth $49,000. Let's start with a little bit of history about the Roosevelt dime. First minted in 1946, the Roosevelt dime features a portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. The reverse shows a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, all symbols of freedom, peace, and strength. It's a coin that has been in circulation for decades, and it's known for its distinctive, detailed design. So what makes the 1980 Roosevelt dime stand out among millions of others? Well, while many 1980 dimes are just like any other dime you come across in your change, there are a few key features that could make this coin extremely valuable. One of the first things that could make your 1980 Roosevelt dime special is its condition. We're talking about coins that have never been circulated or are in pristine, uncirculated condition. The key to value in coin collecting is not only rarity but also the condition of the coin. A dime that has been handled, tossed into your pocket, and jingled around in your coin jar is going to be far less valuable than one that has been preserved in near-perfect condition. If you've got a 1980 dime that looks as fresh as the day it was minted, you're on the right track. Uncirculated coins fetch much higher prices because they still have the luster, sharp details, and finish that make them so desirable to collectors, but that's not all. While condition plays a huge role, there's also the possibility that your 1980 Roosevelt dime could have a minting error. And let me tell you, it's the errors that make coins really stand out in the world of collectors. There are several types of minting errors that can make a coin dramatically more valuable, and the 1980 dime is no exception. One of the most sought-after errors is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is struck off-center by the minting dies, leaving a portion of the design off the edge of the coin. This error can be very subtle, but if you happen to spot an off-center strike on your 1980 dime, you could be looking at a coin that is worth a whole lot more than just 10 cents. Another potential error to watch out for is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the dies, but the second strike is slightly misaligned with the first. This results in a doubling effect on certain parts of the coin, which can make parts of the design appear to be blurry or thickened. On the 1980 Roosevelt dime, this could mean doubled lettering or a doubled portrait of Roosevelt himself. Double die errors are incredibly rare and are highly coveted by collectors. If you've got a 1980 Roosevelt dime with this type of error, then it could easily become the crown jewel of your collection. If you find a 1980 Roosevelt dime with either of these errors or in pristine condition, then you're looking at a coin that could be worth a staggering $49,000. Yes, you heard that right. While most dimes from 1980 are worth face value or just a little more, a rare error coin or one in mint condition can easily fetch that kind of money, and sometimes even more depending on the severity of the error and the grade of the coin. This is exactly what makes coin collecting so thrilling. There are hidden gems just waiting to be discovered in your spare change or in a box of old coins passed down through generations. With the 1980 Roosevelt dime, the right find could mean a small coin that turns into a massive payday. And as with all rare coins, condition and authenticity are key. If you happen to stumble upon a dime like this, get it graded by a professional coin grading service. This will ensure that the coin is evaluated accurately and can help you understand its true worth in the collector's market. So, what are you waiting for? Head to your coin jar, take a close look at those 1980 dimes, and start inspecting them for any signs of rare minting errors or just that perfect uncirculated condition. This is the kind of find that every coin collector dreams of, and it could be waiting for you. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1980 Roosevelt dime, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all the latest coin discoveries. Today we're diving into a real gem that could change the way you look at your loose change forever, the 1974 Roosevelt dime. Now, I know what you're thinking, it's just a dime, right? Well, hold on to your seats because this coin could be worth way more than you ever imagined. We're talking about a coin that could be worth as much as $67,000, yes, you heard that right, $67,000, let's break it down. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple of American currency since 1946, when it was first introduced to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The design features a bust of Roosevelt himself on the obverse, while the reverse shows a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, symbols of freedom, peace, and strength. But not all dimes are created equal. Sure, you see these dimes all the time in your pocket change, but some, like the 1974 Roosevelt dime, hold a bit more mystery and value than most people realize. Now, what exactly makes the 1974 Roosevelt dime stand out? Well, there are a few key factors that can turn this common coin into a serious treasure. First and foremost, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. If you've got a 1974 Roosevelt dime that has been well preserved, basically, one that looks like it just came off the minting press, you might be sitting on a hidden treasure. Coins that are in mint condition, also known as uncirculated coins, are the most valuable. These dimes retain their original shine, sharp features, and lack of wear or scratches. If your dime looks flawless, it's definitely worth getting graded by a professional to see just how much it's truly worth, but it's not just about condition. Some 1974 Roosevelt dimes contain rare minting errors that can make them even more valuable. The world of coin collecting is full of collectors who hunt down coins with unusual or faulty designs, and these errors can skyrocket the value of a coin. One error to look out for on the 1974 Roosevelt dime is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the minting dies, causing the design to appear doubled, with thicker lettering or duplicated details. The most common places to spot this error are on the wording and date, but it can appear in other parts of the coin as well. Then there's the off-center strike error. This is when the coin is not properly aligned in the minting machine, resulting in part of the design being cut off or shifted to one side. If you find a 1974 Roosevelt dime with this type of error, you could be looking at a very valuable piece of history. These off-center dimes can be quite rare, and collectors pay a premium for them because they're one of a kind and show the imperfections of the minting process. Another error to keep an eye out for is the clipped planchet error. This occurs when the metal blank, or planchet, that's used to make the coin is improperly cut during the manufacturing process, causing a portion of the coin to be missing or clipped. If you happen to find a 1974 Roosevelt dime with this error, it's a great find. These errors are not only visually interesting but are also highly prized by collectors due to their rarity and unique appearance. Now, you may be wondering, how much can a 1974 Roosevelt dime with one of these errors really be worth? Well, if you happen to find one of these rare 1974 dimes in pristine condition or with a significant minting error, it could be worth as much as $67,000. That's right, this little coin could fetch a whopping $67,000 in the right market. Coins with these types of errors are highly sought after, and their value can vary depending on the severity of the error and the coin's grade. It's important to note that while most 1974 Roosevelt dimes will only be worth face value, just 10 cents, those that are in excellent condition or have unique errors can be worth thousands of dollars. So, don't just throw away your old dimes or toss them in a jar without taking a closer look. The coin you're holding in your hand might just be the one that makes you thousands of dollars richer. If you do find one of these valuable dimes, don't forget to have it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service. This will help you understand its true value and ensure that you're not missing out on a potential fortune. So, next time you're digging through your pocket change or looking through your coin collection, take a moment to look closely at those 1974 Roosevelt dimes. You just might have a rare and valuable coin on your hands, waiting to be discovered. And as always, happy hunting. You never know what kind of treasure is hiding in your collection. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin content, and share this with all your fellow coin collectors. Who knows, your next dime could be worth a $67,000 fortune.